everyone. Welcome to another edition of JD's Corner. Today's topic is going to be on addiction. There's many types of addiction, from sexual addiction to gambling addiction to drills or to pills to alcohol to drugs. There's many different sorts of addiction in this world. Addiction, I believe, starts in your personality. It's that thrill of whatever you're feeling. If you bet $20 on something and you win 50, that thrill goes to your pleasure zone, and it runs through your body, and it sends a certain amount of chemicals a certain way that just makes you crave and want to do it again. And the more you do it, the more you satisfy that urge, the more you're going to become addicted to whatever it is you're doing. Quitting these things, now that's a whole different demon. To try and quit something, everybody gives you a reason to do it. Everybody says you got to come to this clinic. Everybody says go to this rehab place. Everybody says go do. The only way you're ever going to quit an addiction is to wake up one morning and realize that you have it and that you want to quit. That's the only way you'll ever be able to end it. It's the very first step. I've had addiction to alcohol before. I've had addiction to prescription drugs before. And with quitting it, you learn a lot about yourself. There's an inner strength it takes after it's over with not to ever want to do it again. But when you experience the withdrawals, when you experience the depression your body goes through, when you experience the aches and pains that run all over you and just pull you so far down you just don't want to do anything, when you feel it feels like there's a million spiders crawling all over the inside of you, and you scratch, and then you itch here, you itch there, and it just never stops. It drives you insane. You become extremely irritable. Just every little thing, every little noise aggravates you. You shake constantly. You go from hot to cold in flashes over and over again. You don't sleep. You end up nauseated. You end up with diarrhea. You end up with weak muscles. You end up, some people so to a point where they kill themselves. So in order for you to actually be able to quit, you have to want to do it yourself, because when you go through that, you ain't never going to want to do it again. And if you do, then shame on you. It is one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I did it without rehab. I did it on my own. I really wanted to quit. I didn't like what the doctors did to me. I was hooked on prescription pills. Many of you are hooked on heroin and stronger opiates than that, and I get that, but there's an inner strength you got to have, and there's a want that you need to have inside of you, and no one can give it to you. This is something that's just for you alone. That's the only reason why you should be doing it. If you do it for me, if you do it for your girlfriend, if you do it for your son or daughter, it's never going to hold. When you quit something that's an addiction to you, you have to quit it because it's something you want to do to better your life. And you're going to go from way down here having nothing, and yes, it's going to take time. You're going to have to be patient. And whatever you do, don't fall prey to your addiction. Understand it, know it, and realize what it is when it starts to boil up inside you, and find another avenue to let it out. Don't just succumb to it. I have been hurt for 3 years since I've been away from pills, and I've suffered pain that you couldn't even begin to imagine every solitary day. And I still have not taken a pill. That was the hardest thing I ever had to battle in my life. And if it wasn't for my faith in God and my inner strength, I truly do not believe I would have won. And the pills would have killed me because the doctors didn't care. All they are is legal prescription drug dealers. That's all they are. They don't care about your body. They care about the money they're going to get. Addiction stems from many reasons. A bad childhood, a bad marriage, you got hurt. Something you do afterwards stimulates that want and desire in you. And what we don't realize is that when we get the pleasure that we want, then we crave it because it's something we didn't have. If you're someone who sleeps around on your wife all the time, you're doing it for a reason. and you're not getting that same pleasure feeling that you need from her. But instead of sleeping around, why not just break up with her and then find somebody? There are all kinds of sex addicts in this world that can possibly give you anything that you want, male or female, and you're not hurting anybody. And when you're doing it inside your marriage, you're hurting your spouse. She doesn't have to know it, but there's a moral ground that you set in your life, and that moral ground is just because nobody's there, just because nobody knows it, does that mean it's right? No, you have to draw that line inside of you. It helps you to grow. It helps you become a better person. So when you grab that needle down the road, and you grab that glass of whiskey because you had a bad day, and you look at it, morally, you're going to know this is wrong to do because of what it's already done to your body. So you need to be strong enough to set it down and walk away. I know it's not easy. I do it every solitary day, so I know it's not easy, but it'll lead to a better life for you. It'll change the person that you are. That gloom and doom depression that we walk around in and nobody cares about us and we're just down like this and the world just seems to be black. It doesn't matter how much sunlight is out, how blue the skies are. I understand all of them days. But you need to get out. You need to take care of yourself. You need to breathe. You need to get that fresh air. And you need to get that addiction completely out of your body. And when it leaves your body, then it's time for this new stuff to come pouring in. It's called positive energy. It brightens your day. You'll see the clouds starting to move. You'll see the brightness starting to come out. And when they tell you there's light at the end of the tunnel and you see that little tiny light way down there, that is your light. Just keep going towards it. And the farther away you walk and get away from your addiction and leave it in your rear view mirror, the stronger you're going to be. And the stronger you're going to be, the more you're going to realize how bad this was for you and what it's done for your life. For me, there were people I owed apologies to because the addiction that I had was so strong that I did whatever I needed to get whatever I wanted, and I hurt some people along the way. So after I healed, I didn't have to go to a step program or nothing. I just realized the bad that I did behind me, and I had to go apologize to the people that I truly did hurt. The bad ones, I give a shit about them. They could all stay hurt. They could all still look in the mirror and all be beat up. It makes no difference to me at all. But there were some innocent people that were in my path and in my way. And at the time when I needed something, I let my monster out and he controlled me. And I got whatever I wanted when I wanted it. And if it didn't, I took it. But so there were a few innocent people that I sincerely gave a humble apology to. And I explained my addiction and what it did to me, how it happened. And they were very understanding because of my honesty. And if you do that, it'll help you heal. It'll help you stay away from the addiction. If you're open-minded to the criticism of it and ask people, what they saw that was different in you, they'll be able to tell you these traits. And instead of you getting mad, listen to them and say, wow, I was really bad. And you'll hear similarities from everybody. You don't ever want to be that person again. Once you develop and you grow into this amazing man, you don't want to ever go back to what it was. There are people, I get it, they just don't learn, they don't care about life, but there are a lot of good people out there that just deserve a little bit of help. The help's going to start inside here, and then it's going to start up there, because you got to open your heart. You truly have to let God in to make this work. When you're around evil, when you see evil done, when you watch TV and you're always seeing all kinds of like Friday the 13th and the Conjurings and stuff like that, I truly believe that it just opens a channel in this world to allow negative, bad, evil things to come into your life. So if you keep that part of your life away from all of that, look at it, it's not good, so stay away from it. Just turn your back and go over here. Do something different. I promise you, it'll make a huge difference. You start to brighten up over time. You don't at first notice it because the change takes time and you don't see it. But if you just be patient and watch, you'll see your life is going to lighten up and it's going to be so much better. When you decide to quit an addiction, do some research on it. See what the addiction is. See what part of your body is addicted to whatever it is, and find alternate avenues to compensate for. Like when I got totally stressed, instead of taking prescription pills, I took a bag and I just beat on it and I beat on it and I beat on it and I threw my MMA bag on the ground and I elbowed it and I elbowed it until I was completely exhausted. And after I couldn't breathe anymore, I didn't want the drug of what the doctor had given me. I didn't want to put it in my system. I let it all out. So I found an avenue. Everybody's got one, whether it's going for a drive, sitting down, reading a book, getting out, running, going and shooting pool, going bowling, hitting the golf course, whatever you have to do. Choose that avenue before you choose the drug again. It's not worth it. Sexual addiction, yes, it's a bad one. Financial addiction, it's a bad one. There's people I've seen gamble their whole life away, everything that they had, because they just couldn't. This is the one. This is the one. Give me some more. Give me some more. This is the one. And the odds always take it away from you. Always. If you're lucky and you win something, you think, wow, I did really good. Okay, you won $500. You're happy, right? How much money did you spend before you won that $500? Okay, so now you spent $475. So you kicked that out of there. Now you only won $25. So you'll never ever win the odds. It happens. I'm not saying it don't. People are very lucky in this world, but for the majority of us, we're not going to buy that scratch-off ticket. And when it opened it up, it says we won $1 million. I've seen people do it, so I know it can be done. It's never going to happen to me. Not because I'm framing my world, because I've been playing the lottery since I was 18 years old. It hasn't happened yet. And God knows I've tried every solitary day. I always say that if I don't try it myself, God's not going to let me win, so I put myself out there every day. It's $1. I don't believe in spending anything more than that, because you can spend $5 million on tickets, or you can spend $1 on a ticket. If you've got the set of numbers, you got the set of numbers. I don't believe spending more money increases your odds at all. Repetition does. So if you play the same numbers over and over again, yes, repetition will bring it your way. But don't let that addiction grab a hold of you and say, oh, well, I'll play $2 this time. And now you see the jackpot's at $300 million, and now you want to spend $20 on it. And before you know it, when you don't lose, you feel that rush that came with it, though, that there was a chance to win that $300 million. And that rush can take over your body and release endorphins and chemicals and adrenaline through you. It just gives you a sense of pleasure, and from there you're hooked, because that was your first taste in your arm. Now you want to go take money out of your wallet, and you want to buy some more stuff. So you buy more credit cards, you buy more lottery tickets. Now you start buying instants and doing scratch-offs, and before you know it, your addiction just cost you your paycheck. And you're not thinking about it. A little bit farther down the road, all of a sudden you're getting a notice because some bill hadn't been paid. And why? Because you're taking all that money and you're finding an excuse to be able to take it, to use it for your addiction. It is the same thing with pills. When you get up in the morning and first thing you do after sleeping all night and not having any pill in your system is you wake up and you start to shake. And the very first thing you want to do is reach over and grab the pills. And why? Because you don't want to feel that shake. You get that nauseated feeling, everything's dizzy, the world's falling apart on you, and you don't want to experience that. So the first thing you do is you wake up and you throw a couple pills in your mouth. 20 minutes after they start to come into your system, they don't hit you for an hour, but in that first 20 minutes you start to calm down. So then you relax. Now that first dose of pills is in you, and over a couple of years' time, that first dose isn't enough, so an hour and a half later, you pop 2 more in your mouth. Your addiction just grew. And it doesn't matter how big you are or how strong you are, the littlest, tiniest pill can addict you and make you a slave to it. In my version, they're the devil. They're one of the devil's demons. Prescription meds are. And the doctors that pass them out, and I do understand there are some people that truly do need this kind of medicine, but there are hundreds of thousands of people out there that don't need to be on the opiate, but once they get addicted to it, they want to have it in their body, and they need to have it. By them having it, they'll do any means possible, which is lie to the doctor, steal it, hurt somebody for it, over and over and over again. They'll sell their souls to get the money, whether they have to sell their body to get for the sex, or they have to sell somebody else's car. They'll do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter. The addiction grabs you so strong, it's all you think about 24 hours a day. You want nothing else. Most addictions are like that. It is your spot, your comfort zone that you fall into, because all it does is give you pleasure. Yes, life is hard. It doesn't give you pleasure every day. Most of the time, it kicks you in the frickin' face all the time. But if you're strong enough to stand there and punch back, it doesn't hurt so bad. By you succumbing to the problem that's at hand and you taking the pill, whatever the problem was, it already won, and the demon that's inside you, it already won too. And why did it win? Because you gave in, knowing what it was going to do. Once you quit an addiction, all you got to do is do it one time. That's it, just one pill, and it can have you addicted all over again, just like that, and you'll crave it. There are times if I had to go to the hospital for open heart surgery, yeah, I could understand them putting me on an opiate, something like that, but to have somebody constantly, every month, go in and get so many hundred opiates, muscle relaxers, Xanaflexes, things like that, Xanax, these things are, they're dangerous, and I don't really think doctors realize to the point of what? They put you on the strict regimen, and you take these pills, and then every month you come in, you do a pee test, and they make sure you ain't overdosing on the pills, but they ain't realizing that your body's getting addicted to the pill, and whatever they gave you is not strong enough to stop the pain, because the pain becomes mental then. When you can't, when you wake up in the morning and you know you have no pills left, you can go through 3-4 days and you'll be alright. And then all of a sudden, the day your paycheck comes through and you know you're going to be able to go get your pills, your body does a mental, it's mental, it starts to ache, it starts to hurt, it starts to be irritable, it starts to shake. For 3 days you haven't had this problem. But now, your brain knows your money's here. So, for me, I had to pay cash for all my stuff, so I had to wait till I actually had the cash in my hand. And there were times I ran out, and I did good. But that day that money was going to be there in my hand, I woke up, and the first thing I did is start shaking. And I got irritable, and I couldn't wait. And the minute I knew that I had the cash in my hand, I went and got the pills. And as soon as they hit my hand, they hit my mouth. And when they hit my mouth, my body calmed down. They weren't even in there 30 seconds. It's just my brain forced my body to hurt so bad to make me go get it. And that's addiction. You have to recognize that you have this addiction, and you have to get up like I did one day and look in the mirror and say, I hate you and I want you dead. And I had a choice. I stayed on the same path I was on, and I wouldn't be here right now. Or I could do something about it, and I could try and change my life and better it. So I took the initiative to try and change my life. But the first thing I had to do was understand addiction, so I went and learned about it. And that's what I tell everybody. Learn about what's wrong with you first. Accept it. Don't look at it as it's the worst thing that happened. It's no different than a mental disease, a physical disease. This is just, it's more like an emotional disease for you. Give yourself the opportunity to learn about it, to figure out a way in your head to successfully believe that this is something you don't ever want to do again in your life. And when you believe that in your heart and in your head, the sky's the limit. You can beat any addiction that you have. You might need a little help along the way, but your inner strength is going to come from here, and it's going to come from the man upstairs. You need God to do this. You have to surround yourself by nothing but good things. You can't have stress. You can't have your circle of friends that were all potheads and drug dealers and shooter-uppers. You can't be around them, because when you see it every day, it's going to make you crave it. So you have to have good. You have to drop that light, and you have to find a new light, and you have to find a better light. And after you see it, you're going to say, wow, all I did is just waste away. Days of your life that you don't even remember because you were wiped out on pills or some kind of a drug in your arm, it's not worth it. Or you sat in front of a bar stool all day long drinking shot after shot until you passed out. Your paycheck is gone, you've wiped your body out, you get up sick, and you do it all over again. Only you can inflict that change on you. You're the one that has to do it. When your life is going bad, find a different avenue. I tell people, don't bottle it up inside. You don't have to scream and yell, but express yourself. If something's irritating you, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's with a friend, open your mouth and tell them. Sit down and talk with them. If there's people that care about you in your life, they're going to listen, and you're going to work it out. And if they don't, then you get up, you walk out the door, you shut the door behind you, and never open it again, because he's not going to benefit your life. The people that should be in your life should be there to support you, should be there to love you for your weaknesses and your strengths, for your flaws and your good points. Everybody's got them, but everybody judges. So You pick your own friends if it doesn't work. If they don't want to help you, then fine. Walk out their lives. You don't need that stress. It's going to keep you farther away from the addiction. But if you start letting them crawl back in, it doesn't matter. They're no good. Remember, when you're down on your butt, that's when you find out who your friends are. When you get back up, you remember that too. Because those ones that weren't there for you, when you get back up and you have the cheese again, they're all going to be knocking on your door. Hey, remember me? I was there during your depression state? No. And be honest and say you didn't and you weren't there and I'm not there for you now. And you hang up the phone and you click. Don't let people use you. Help your friends. Love your friends. Be unconditional to them. Do everything you possibly can. They're a very rare thing to have. Your friends that surround you, you'll pick up their traits, and the farther away you get from your drug addiction or your alcohol addiction or your gambling addiction or your sex addiction, the farther away you get from that life and them people and you just move it completely out, the stronger you're going to be every solitary day. And one day you're going to go like this and you're going to feel like you can hold the world on top of your shoulders and nobody can stop you. And the reason why is because you changed your life. But you've got to want to do it yourself. And believe me when I tell you, it is so worth it. The fog and the darkness that my life was in to the lightness that it is now, I wouldn't change any of it because it made me the man I am. But it taught me so many things that I want to help this world with. I don't have many avenues, so social media is where I put all this information. I have been through things in my life people couldn't even begin to understand, and I am a good man. I have a good heart. I am a man nonetheless. I have a good heart. You can only push me so far. But if you treat me good, I'll be there for you no matter what. And I'll be the only guy that ever walked into your life and walked out. And you'll honestly say, he never hurt me once. I don't hurt my friends. They always find a way to hurt me because of my kindness. But my violent years are behind me. So now I just do the adult thing and I just block them out of my life. No matter what happens, no matter how things change, I don't want nothing to do with them. They're done. They're not there to benefit me, then they just need to leave. I'm there to benefit everybody else's life. I'm even on this camera right now benefiting your life from an experience I went through. The doctors are going to tell you millions of things about you when you go see a therapist over your addiction, whatever it is. And they're going to dig down into your soul. And you have to soul search yourself. No matter what a doctor does to you or says to you, you can listen to it and go one ear and out the other. But when you actually sit in the middle of nowhere, you can't lie to anybody. It's just you, and you're honest about yourself. You'll find your pros and your cons. And if you add more to the pros and you work on your cons, they're going to get smaller. And it's going to make you a better human being. It's going to make you less stressful. It's going to make you less dependent on all these other things as you're moving forward in your new life. Eat better. Exercise, get out, no matter what, find 20 minutes a day and just take a walk. 10 minutes in one direction, turn around 10 minutes back. If it doesn't seem like it's doing much for you, then go a little faster, walk faster. The faster you walk, the more it puts pressure on your heart and works your cardiovascular system. You can speed walk, put weights on you. They sell body weights, put a body weight on you. It's what I do. You add a 5-pound packet every solitary week until you can carry the whole extra 40 pounds with you. And all you got to do is walk. I walk long distances, and as I said, I went from 220. Look at me now. I look pretty good. I'm solid, I'm strong, and I'm carrying all that extra weight, so it toned all my muscles just by me walking. There's a lot of people that can't exercise like me because of my neck and back. So for me, I recommend if you do have 2 good legs and you can walk, start a regimen and increase it as you go along and you get healthier. The fresh air is going to do amazing things for you, and the exercise is going to change you. It's going to help you overcome these addictions. As I said, find other avenues. Sometimes I sit in front of a pool table for hours and I just crack the cue balls and just knock them as hard as I can. I can't hurt anybody, and while I'm doing it, I think. Find other outlets. They're there. Everybody has hobbies. Everybody has things. You might be the guy that likes to fish. So when you're stressed out, instead of going for your drug, grab your fishing tackle and your box and out the door you go, and spend 2 hours on the lake somewhere in complete solitude and quiet, away from everybody. Take a couple favorite foods, take a little bit of music, and just take time for yourself and chill. It'll help you walk away from this addiction and say no to it. And that's what I would like to do, if possible, is help anybody with the steps that I went through. If you're interested, you can contact me. I have JD's Corner Twitter. You can contact me there. I have jdscorner2016@gmail.com. You can contact me there, or you can contact me right back here through my YouTube channel. And anything I can possibly do, any information I can give you, I will do everything possible. I know a lot about herbs. I know a lot about vitamins. I know things that help my body grow and change and help me get away from the addiction. And then it's all about your positive energy in your head. It's about having a positive outlook on everything in life, and it's about keeping positive people around you. You'll feel the negative energy because when somebody comes near you, you're going to feel the drain on you. And the minute you feel that drain, that's somebody you don't want. You don't need anybody to pull your life back down into the dark hole it was in. You've climbed out of it yourself. You had a victory in the valley of life. Just think about that. And people don't understand that, but addiction is a very bad thing. And it is like walking through the valley of the shadow of death. You fight the grim reaper. And if you come out the other side successful and stronger, then you're a good man. And if you don't and you succumb to it, then you need to get up and try it again, because he's not worth it. Don't let him take your life. Don't ever give up without a fight. No matter what it is, don't ever give up. Addiction is only as strong as you allow it to be. People only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. So use your inner strength, find it in your core down here, and let it out. Open your brain up to a better, new life, a positive life. Start with some meditation, start with some walking, start with the fact that you are addicted to something, admit it to yourself, and then start making the steps to get there. Your goal might start down here and end all the way up here, but in between all of that, you're going to have these little tiny goals that you got to set to make it. And when you finally finish all of these goals all the way up here, you've hit your main goal, which would have been to quit whatever it was you're addicted to, and you succeeded. And now that the table's turned and it's underneath, you can keep pushing it down farther and farther and farther out of your life. And as you do that, you get stronger and stronger, and you just start to rise. And the more you rise, the more your life rises, the more everything rises. Your attitude, you'll see a change that you've never expected before. I've had the world. I've had everything you can possibly imagine given to me. God has just blessed me with financial. That was great for me at one time. And I've had it and I've lost it, and I've had it and I've lost it. And I have a very simple life right now, and without all the stress and bullshit of everything else that goes on, and I am happier now than I've probably ever been in my entire life. And I have a woman, she's not the perfect 10. She's not a 1 either. She's an 8. She's beautiful. She's an angel in her heart. She's got a soul that just... You couldn't even begin to imagine the good soul that is inside her. I was married to a dark demon when I had my first marriage, and she was beautiful on the outside, and she was the blackest coal you ever seen on the inside. And it pulled my life apart. I didn't realize it because as the days went on and the clouds started to come in, I didn't notice. It just was like an everyday normal day. And then when my addiction got worse because of the stress that was going on in my everyday life, I just got worse and worse and worse. And one day I just had to look. You got to change. If I don't, I'm going to die. And I have a survival mechanism in me that I'm not saying I can't be killed, but I'm not just going to lay there and die to do it. You're going to have to work your ass off. Take my life, you do it. But I'm not going down alone. And whoever does kill me, my goal would be to take them with me. And if it's an addiction, then I'm taking every frickin' pill that's in there, and I'm taking it and swallowing it all. It's all going to hell with me, because that's where I'll end up. But at this point in my life, it's been 3 years, and I am better, I am stronger, I am faster, I am more alert, I am healthier, I look better, I feel better, and God has presented himself into my life in ways you would never imagine. I don't care if people love me, hate me, respect me, don't respect me. I'm a very honest man, and I'll give you my honest opinion on anything that you ever needed to know. I don't believe in sugarcoating. If the doctor thinks I have an addiction and the doctor thinks I have cancer, don't sugarcoat it for me. Just come right out. Yep, you have cancer and you got 6 months to die. I'll deal with it on my own. Don't say, well, I'm not sure about this, or, well, let me think about it. It's not, don't just tell me, because I'm going to be that way with you. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I'm very blunt. I'll tell you the way I feel, and it saves a lot of time. Sometimes it can sound like I'm being an ass, and I'm really not trying to be, but at the same time, I'm expressing how I feel to you. It was worse when I was under the addiction because I didn't care what I said or who I hurt. I did whatever I wanted, said whatever I wanted, and I know a lot of you are like that too. You might need that money for your wife's anniversary, but your addiction to porn was a lot more, so you went and bought the porn instead, or you went to the strip club instead. I get it. I truly do understand. But you have to take control of it. Only you can make that happen. Nobody else can. No doctor, no pill, no counselor, no psychiatrist. Only you. You have to make that step. It has to come from here first before anybody else can do anything.